Well, 30-year fixed rate dropped to 6% this morning. This is the lowest in 3 years. I'm going to touch on that, as well as how I predict the real estate, how I predict the economic indicators of the United States. It's kind of wide-ranged topic here. I'm not an expert, but I'll share with you what I've learned in the last 17 years selling real estate in the States. And I think I see some things that you may be laughing at me, but this is what I use to predict what's going to happen in the next 3, 6 months, maybe 12 months. Hey, welcome back to Shawn Realty Podcast. This is Shawn, the realtor guy from Portland, Oregon. So 6%, I've been seeing that was going to happen. I thought it would happen towards the end of 2025, but it just happened. And as you may know, the mortgage rate is not dictated by the Fed funds rate. It can go with it, it can go against it, but ultimately it's the bankers who make the profits and they're going to manipulate it the way they want it. As long as they're making profit, they can make a lot of profit or less profit or whatever. So, 10-year treasury bond, same thing. It is correlated if you look at it historically, but again, it just goes to whatever bankers want to do. And they basically preemptively lower the rate before the Fed funds rate was, the dropping was announced, which is happening in the next few weeks. So there are certain things that I want to point out is that there's Wall Street information and Main Street information. The Wall Street information says job market is good. When Main Street says the Intel is cutting 1,200 people, Nike is cutting whatever 2% or 3% that they just announced, I knew it was coming. But when you see the job market data for the last 12 months, job market is great. That's what Federal Reserve has been saying. They weren't lowering because of the inflation was too high, which their standard is 2%. I don't know who made that deal, but even the Fed doesn't have the clear indicator like 2% on the job market. They don't have any like standard. If the job market is this, we're going to do this. No, they basically sort of arbitrarily change things, right? And so to me, when you look at the Wall Street driven data, the job market, the economic report, the CPI report, all these things, it clouds your judgment. It clouds you to see through what's really happening. So what I focus in on is what's happening in my market, because the employment of my market dictates the real estate trend in my market. That's all I care. So for example, when Intel reduces their employees, Bethany housing market gets soft. That's very not correlated with somebody in Washington making this data. In fact, the way I look at it is all this, the Wall Street data can be manipulated pretty easily for the profit or political gains. When you have that base, you're going to pay less attention to that. That's where I am. I want to focus in on what my companies are, my local companies are doing. And when I talk to the home buyers at open house or the way they write the offers, you can kind of sense the consumer confidence, if that makes sense. Do they have enough buying power? How much down payment are they putting down? How careful are they? How flaky are they? If the economic is like local economy is uncertain, people get flaky. People may make an offer, but they just pull out because they feel like this is not a good choice. And so, the consumer price index, I look at what buyers do. That's more accurate in my opinion. The job market report, I look at how many the local companies are hiring or firing which affects the home price in my market. That's how I see what's going to happen in 6 months or 12 months in advance. So as I mentioned, I've been predicting, just started about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, that I saw this coming. 6% was coming, but as I mentioned, I thought it would come later of this year. So I could see 5.75% actually sooner. By spring or maybe next summer, we may actually see 5.5% 30-year fixed rate. If that happens, there's a lot more home buyers going to come, and that actually aligns with what I've been recommending to the home sellers, which 2026 spring market will be one of the better market to sell compared to now. And for the buyers, if that happens, if 5.5% happens, you're going to miss the boat, meaning the price is going to go up faster than you would like. On the flip side, you will get lower monthly payment, but you'll have to pay more. And so that's what I wanted to point out. So yeah, I mean, just try to look at your local market, what your local market is doing. You know, your like home builders, are they being like proactive? Are they building a lot, or are they having hard time selling their inventory? Is your electrician super busy? Are your home inspectors super busy? That's a good indicator for me to see the real estate data too. And turn off the noise of the national data, because that is not a lot that relevant to local economy. Let's see. So, the one other thing is that when you see the news right now, that like weak economy and this and that, and I could just see like they try to politically blame somebody. But you know, I think the way I look at it, based on the local economy that I know, weak economy started during the pandemic, and it never recovered. It never did. It's been weak last 4 or 5 years. 4 years? Yeah, almost 5 years now. The economy has been weak. For the last 3 years, my real estate transaction number went down significantly. People are scared to buy. People are scared to buy homes, buy groceries. I see that. Sometimes I see at Costco, that's another Main Street indicator. When the economy is good, the shopping cart is full. When the economy is weak, shopping cart is half empty. And those are the things that I look at. And so I thought I would share with you. And yeah, about the tariff too. Tariff is such that it's kind of interesting. You know, the Federal Reserve said that because of the unknown factors of tariff, we don't know how it's going to impact inflation. So they're going to keep it the way it is instead of cutting it down. To me, tariff is a good thing for a country, because I've seen this in South Korea when I was growing up. I was a kid, so I had to learn later on by reading what happened in the 1970s in South Korea. South Korea was third world country. I mean, this is whole other video maybe, but I'll try to be as brief as possible. Because of that, the President Park at the time, he did the tariff, and he did the movement to buy Korean products. So they like boycotted, you know, Japanese products, American products. I remember, you know, seeing American products growing up, but it was like people would look at you like this. Why aren't you using Korean pencils, you know? But my point is that tariff is actually good for a country. Temporarily, it may be painful because the consumers may have to pay the difference, but it eventually bring the jobs back, which America needs desperately. So, I mean, me as a Korean American living in America, I like to see jobs coming back here, because my livelihood is really dependent on the local economy, not so much Korean economy. But so in my opinion, it is a good thing. There's some short-term pain, but Fed saying that the implication of the tariff is unknown. Yeah, but that's not a good reason to keep it the way it is. I don't want to go into the Federal Reserve, my own opinion about them, but that's whole other matter. Yeah, so hopefully this will give you a better sort of sense of how to look at your local economy, so you can do well your personal finance or your personal real estate goals, because that's what's most important at the end of the day. So yeah, if you have any questions about Portland, Oregon market, give me a call. I'll put the link below. If you wanna work with me, selling or buying or both, or if you need a realtor recommendation in the other side of the country, other states, let me know, because I can make you some good connections with good realtors locally who I would hire if I move into that part of town. So I'll put the link below. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.